India, despite being the fourth largest GDP, is still one of the poorest nations. Hello everyone, Namaste and welcome once again. So today we are going to discuss why India is failing despite its claims. भारत क्यों गिर पड़ रहा है? Let's go. India ranks fourth in GDP by $4.19 trillion and also followed after United States, China and Germany. We can see that India's many parts are still in poverty, so the per capita of India is very low. Per capita of most Indians is less than $5,000. Only the 65% of the total GDP contributed is by the top 1% people. That is around 14 or 10 lakh people of a population of 1.4 billion people, which is really wrong. Basically, there is a huge amount of income inequality in India, which is hardly seen in USA and China. Modern day middle class suffer the most. See, rich people pay taxes with their property money or they get things through rent. Poor people obviously don't have to pay the tax. They get a lot of privileges, freebies in return. Freebies like many schemes like Ladki Bahin Yojana, Bahina Yojana. All of these, like, they may sound beneficial, but actually they are like using our own taxes, middle class people's taxes, in order to pay for poor women. Instead, jobs should be given to them. There is a lot of unhygienic practices or even harmful practices done in restaurants. Even in politics, we can see that one MLA was elected, and she allowed men to rape her own daughter, and this is really wrong. Also, we can see the bridges in Bihar are falling, which were created just 6 months back.
Mumbai's metro station was built less than a year ago, and see the pathetic condition.
And this is actually a very big problem. Also, if we see, there are improper policies. Now, there are also poor foreign policies like unnecessary sympathizing and toxic empathy, which ultimately do harm India. See, this is in every nation. For example, the Neom city in Saudi, it is not a sustainable project because generally cities are built using circles, and also Dubai has a lot of kind of poor treatment of workers, and in China there is dictatorship and trash is thrown in oceans. There is flaw in every single nation, but if we look in India, there is a significant amount, exponentially higher amount, and there are improper policies, you can steal up to 1,000 rupees. This is there, such wrong laws. And also the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was established, but what we see, loads of garbage thrown outside the roads, anywhere it's thrown, and this is really wrong and a normalized habit. Even I can admit I have done it several times, and there is a lot of lack of hygiene and many other things in various places. And I think government should have strict policies, and not only on that, regarding laws such as divorce, marriage, etc. Women are more favored than men, which I think is a problem. The next is the main thing, the Ahmedabad Crash Case.
It has been a long and wholesome journey, through thick and thin, through good and bad, through love and hate. And finally the time has come to awaken and celebrate the moment we are all waiting for.
Less than 5 episodes left for the 100th episode. In the 100th episode, we not only hear the journey of my podcast, but also my journey from being zero to becoming a successful influencer. There will be a lot of stories and surprises. On 4th of July, on 12th of June, there was a very bad crash case. At 1:39 p.m. it took off, and within even 1 minute didn't happen after it reached up. Within 4 to 5 minutes of its takeoff, it fell down into a residential area and it got burnt.
It got crashed down on BJ Medical College's terrace canteen, and around 50 people died there.
To fires. It was the Boeing 787-7 plane, and it was deemed as one of the safest planes. No accident by now. But many whistleblowers have criticized the Boeing company for like using sub parts, like very very bad quality parts, reused parts from the trash bin, and also compromising its quality. They also addressed it to the CEO, but he said to keep quiet. Some whistleblowers also committed suicide. In South Korea, Indonesia, 679 deaths up to now by Boeing flights. People are saying Pakistan is responsible. I don't think so.
Poor management and opening the emergency buttons of fuel were responsible.
So there were like 217 something Indian nationals, two Portugal nationals, some British nationals. In that crash, only one person named Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, a British citizen originally from India, survived. He basically sat in the 11A seat, which is like near the emergency exit. He immediately pressed it and jumped off. So he was aware. He was alive not because of bad karma, but because of his luck and awareness. And we see all others' lives got shambled. Their dreams, their aspirations, their hopes all got shattered.
India, with the help of US officials, is finding the reason behind this crash via the black box. All crew members died, and what happened was really, really brutal. Over 1000 degrees Celsius climate happened. Former CM Vijay Rupani also died.
And this is really, really sad. So, who is basically to blame? I personally don't think that Boeing is alone to be blamed. Air India is also to be blamed because, like, recently we see around 59 flights have been cancelled. From Dubai to Lucknow, a plane was going and its flaps, like wings, like suddenly they became faulty. Like, this is really, really shocking. A reputed companies, airplanes are working like this. And we have to understand there is corruption in it. Emirates is the safest flight as of now. Akash Vatsa, before deleting his tweet, like he told Air India that see what is happening just 2 hours before the crash. And this was really, really bad to be seen. That the TV was not working, the buttons were not working, the emergency buttons were not working, a lot of things were not working, which is really, really wrong. And also ACs are not working, the people had to wait, and the toilets are filled with poo. Really shocking.
There is a new guest on my show.
A lot of problems happening. So if we can understand that the per capita human rights issues, like we see India is like very very, like not always but certain parts of India are persecuting minorities, etc. And I think there is a lot of human rights issues. Recently Rohingyas were like deported and they were like pushed from the Indian Ocean and told to swim. Luckily life jackets were given, but this is really really wrong. Deporting illegal immigrants must be done in a compassionate way. Indian behavior outside. Now, recently, this has to be talked about. See, not every single Indian person, but many Indians, like a significant amount of Indians in Western countries, and also recently, a video got viral of people doing Garba on Burj Khalifa.
पुलिस आ गई तो उन्हें प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ेगी, बट हम बिना गरबा किए जाने वाले नहीं थे.
You are not loving but insulting Indian culture. Famous filmmaker of Gujarat, he was seen eating khaman on the airport floor with newspaper. This is really really wrong. Do these things at home, do these things within your own communities, but please don't do in an international place, because you represent 1.4 billion people around the world. And this will harm the reputation of so many sane Indians. Recently, there have been accounts, especially of European nationalists, saying that please deport all Indians. See, there are a lot of sane Indians, but this behavior, like stealing things, doing anything, anywhere, is wrong. And we have to be very, very mindful, especially in the rising case of nations putting their own people first. No Chinese, Korean, or an Arab person will do these things. It's not wrong to practice your culture, but if it compromises other people's, cultures or their etiquettes, then that's problematic. This mindset has been stemmed since childhood. Recently, we saw in Kasol, which is a very very holy city in Himachal Pradesh, a lot of waste untreated was thrown. Not only tourists and hotels, like the garbage car doesn't even segregate the waste properly. किधर भी कचरा कूड़ा फेंका जाता है.
ये अंकल खाना पूरा बाहर फेंक दे, ऐसे बाहर निकल, ये देखो
जो कि बहुत गलत बात है. But the locals are also responsible for this, because like this will enter our rivers. You can see all our rivers where we worship them like goddesses. There is thrown. Also, there is toxic like religious or political fanaticism from both ends. There is rising amount of wokeism and extremism. We can see the rise in fake babas and fanaticism from all religions. Anyone is being worshipped, which is a huge problem. We should definitely focus on social issues and certain things related to religion or culture, etc. Like the language thing in Kannada, like people are becoming really, really extreme. See, not everyone speaks it, and that's perfectly fine. There should be language freedom. There
बट क्यों जबरदस्ती मराठी बोलने का पण क्यों
freedom. There should be religious freedom. You should rather focus on more important issues like building the bridges or making our airplane services more effective. In media, there is like fake news given, and movies also have the same shit. Indians harass a lot of foreign tourists. In Turkey, one guy told like in his thoughts when he was hanging with a girl like I want to rape her. We can see that China's startup ecosystem is thriving, particularly in AI, autonomous driving, and e-commerce. And they are achieving unicorn status valued at $1 billion or more. Meanwhile, India's startups are mainly focused on food delivery or beauty products, which don't have any significant value to the international economy. Like they can work within the nation, but when you're going to deal with international relations or exports or why India must be valued, they are not so relevant. We can see how UAE, South Korea, USA, etc. are also developing. Like I think that Zepto, Nika, etc. are focused on, things which are very, very basic and not advanced developments. Because we are very, very comfortable, and this is really, really wrong. We should think out of the box. We should update ourselves. Also, the Indian education system is mainly focused on mugging up Path Karo. No, we should focus on industry solutions. We should focus on developing skills and how we can boost the national and the international economy. So yes, let's make India great again. Also, we see in Zepto food delivery and all, rotten food is given in Blinkit also, rotten eggs, and like this is happening multiple times. So yes, there also corruption exists. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Do share your thoughts on these recent things.